Hey everybody, Kaitan's here welcoming you to my latest Let's Play series. Do you want to play a game that is both simple and fun, with balanced battle mechanics, and where 95% of your time isn't spent on level grinding for a change? Do you want to play a classic RPG that wasn't made by Squaresoft or Enix? If so, then come and let's play Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. Yeah, kick-ass! Now this game is not God's gift to man by any means, but it's another game from my childhood, and I really like it. So, let's get this ball rolling, shall we? What? No new game? Well, let's just initialize this quest. Uh-oh, our protagonist has no name. Jet Li, is that you? No, that was another nameless hero, if you know what I mean. But for the purpose of this LP, I will be naming our character Kai, for obvious reasons. Is he your typical nameless, silent protagonist with spiky red, blue, or blonde hair? Let's find out. So this game was published by Taito back in 1993, and it was actually made by Neverland Studios. What do you mean you've never heard of Neverland Studios? I'll be honest with you guys, before I played Lufia, I've never heard of them either. But apparently these four foul and wicked beings claimed this floating island for themselves, and they possessed the frightening powers of chaos, destruction, terror, and death. What are they, the rejected four horsemen of the apocalypse? Ah, these are the Sinistrals. I'm guessing because they're sinister. What is a Sinistral anyway? I don't think the game ever really goes into detail about them, aside from being godlike super beings. Now, I heard when this game was localized, they actually mixed up two of the Sinistrals. And I won't spoil their names, but like the Sinistral of Chaos is supposed to be the Sinistral of Terror, and vice versa, and somehow they got it backwards. Whoops. Artea, Guy, Maxim, and Salon. Wait, what about Kai? I'm sure he's not important. That's not the energy you're feeling. Alright, giggity. Sorry if that's scrolling a little quickly there, viewers. That was on autopilot, and it still is for that matter. I like how our chat box is blue and the enemy's chat box is a darker color. So this is the first RPG that I've played in a very long time where you actually start out with a full party. I think the last time I saw that was Dragon Warrior 3. So first things first, you press the B button and you open up your menu. Whoa, holy shit, look at those levels. Yeah, look to the right there. And that little gold star denotes your character level. In this case, we're in the high 70s all around. The little heart icon is your HP, and that little green magical staff is your MP. Now below that we have a little sub-menu here, and the first thing I want to do is increase the message speed to fast, as always. You can also rearrange your spells in any order you want to, your items into any order that you want. You can rearrange your combat order, but I'll go over that later. And you can look at your key items that we don't have. Now the other thing you can do is go to your items, and it's pretty standard. For an RPG, you have your item, and then to the right it tells you how many you have, and the yellow items are items that can be used in battle. Now looking at your magic list here, two things stand out. First of which, that number in parentheses there is how many times you can use your spell before you run out of MP. So that's pretty nice. I like that. It's very handy. I wish more games had convenient little features like that. Now the other thing you can do is pick a spell and press the X button to see what the spell actually does. Oh, if only we had that in my first LP. Oh, Phantasy Star 4. Anyways, Unfortunately, you can't do that with items, but that's okay. Now, taking a look at our characters over here, we have Artea. He's kind of like your support mage. He gets buffs, debuffs, and a couple attack spells. Salon is your pure mage. Guy is your pure melee fighter. He's basically a berserker. He has a crap ton of HP and strength, but no magic. And Maxim is kind of like a paladin. He has pretty good melee capabilities, but he also gets healing spells. So, pretty average party makeup. And yep, we got random battles to deal with. Now this game is turn-based for the most part, although speed does play a bigger role in this game than it did in my previous LPs. And just like Wild Arms, you have this little cross grid here, which is what you use to input your commands. The staff is magic, the sword is auto attack, the little shield is defend, little guy at the bottom is escape, and the treasure box is your items. Hey, gained a level, alright. Let's go to the left first and get a power potion. See what that does. Yeah, power potions increase your max HP by 3 to 5 points. And if you don't like the number that it gives you, you could always reload and try again, but I don't think that's really necessary, ever. Now the way targeting works in this game is that it's kind of like Dragon Warrior. You don't actually target a specific enemy. You actually target the group of enemies. And I know a lot of people find that to be annoying, but it's not really all that big of a deal. Unless this happens. Now, I had Maxim, Guy, and Salon all target the Hydra, but watch what happens. Yeah, even though he's dead, Maxim still tried to attack him. For some reason, this game does not have auto-targeting. And again, a lot of people really don't like that, but I think it adds a little bit of strategy to the game, you know? You actually have to think about what you're doing and plan out your actions a little bit. And yeah, the encounter rate in this game is a little high. Let me know now what you guys think about me cutting out repeat battles. Of course I'll still show off like new enemies in an area and things like that, but if it gets a little too tedious and boring for you guys, just let me know. Uh-oh, ambushed. Now these guys are actually weak to water, so we want to go with Flood with Artea. Not that it really matters. All the enemies here are fairly easy, as they should be. I mean, look at our levels. We can't be having trouble with regular enemies at this stage in the game. Now, Great Potions give you attack power, so that'll go to Guy. And Mind Potions give you intelligence, so I want to give that to Salon there. And if I ever get quiet, I'm probably just spacing out listening to the awesome music of this game. This soundtrack really is phenomenal. Now, even though Thunder is not all that effective against Rock, at least in Pokemon, which, by the way, you can take any knowledge you have from Pokemon and just disregard it because it doesn't apply here. Yeah, you still want to go with Thunder against those Rock Golems, even though they're not weak to it, because they have a ton of physical defense and magic defense for that matter. But Thunder is so powerful, it just goes right through that. And it's easily the best way to deal with those guys. Now, Spell Potions increase your maximum MP, so I want to give that to Maxim, because he has really good spells, but they're really expensive, and he just doesn't have the MP that Salon does. And Speaking of Pokemon, I honestly know little to nothing about it. I played like 2 of the games, and that's it. I know Thunder is like ineffective against Rock or Ground or whatever they call it in that universe. Let's go to the right now. By the way, this LP will be in the same format as my other LPs, in which I will be going for a 100% completion rate. And in that game, that just means finding all of the items. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is that the treasure boxes here don't count towards that, but I figured I'd still walk around and pick them all up, just because this is kind of a tutorial episode. I want to show you guys how the game works, how combat works, what certain items do, things like that. Wow, that's almost at the damage cap, which I've never hit. At least I don't think I've ever hit the damage cap. I'm assuming it's 999. Wow, go Guy. So yeah, this game doesn't try to do anything, you know, to break the mold. It's very traditional, very basic, but still, it's very fun. I like it. You know, sometimes you just got to keep things, you know, short, sweet, simple. Don't try to make them too complex. Another spell potion. It's a shame, though, that this game was so overshadowed when it first came out. Not only by its competitors, but also by its own sequel, Lufia 2. I mean, how does that happen? But this game, or the series rather, actually has a pretty big cult fan base. Granted, it's very niche in that respect, but there's a lot of fans out there. And part of the reason that a lot of people don't know about this game, or that this game series as a whole never got a lot of attention, is because this game had to compete against the likes of Final Fantasy IV, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, I mean, tons of big hitters. And, you know, Neverland Studios it's a small, unknown company. What chance did they have? And on top of that, this game wasn't marketed very well. I think it had a couple of one-page ads back in Nintendo Power, and that was pretty much it. I'm sure they did their usual, you know, review after the game came out, of course. But as far as advertising go, even the big multi-million-dollar companies didn't spend any money on advertising. I think maybe a handful of games had commercials, but I can't think of any off the top of my head other than Secret of Evermore and Final Fantasy VI. It's just something that companies didn't invest in back then. Here we get Miracle ×2. Those are the elixirs of the game. Full heal for HP, MP, and it also brings you back from the dead. So really back then, the only way to, you know, get word out about a game was, well, word of mouth, and video game magazines like GamePro, Nintendo Power, and Electronic Gaming Monthly. I think those were the big 3 back then. Oh, by the way, those stairs lead to a healing restoration tiles for MP and MP. You just stand on them and you get fully healed. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, we didn't have things like YouTube or video game trailers back then. In fact, the internet was still in its infancy, so it was either magazines or bust. But still, this game, even though it had a hard time standing out on its own and holding its own against bigger titles, it did a pretty good job. Here we get another miracle. Awesome. You may cross if you can answer me these questions 3. No. Oh yeah, Deus, by the way, is the leader of the 4 Sinistrals. Oh yeah, the Dual Blade is the sword that Maxim is using, and apparently it's a very powerful sword. Yay for inspirational messages! Yeah, how's that for a comeback? Go Salon! Not even going to comment on that one, ladies. I'll spare you this time. But can we defeat the Sinistrals and deliver peace into the world once and for all? Find out next time. Until then though, guys, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day, and take care.